Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
What's going on, folks? Welcome to the Fairways of Life show. Good to have your company from wherever around the world you are joining us. So we got a pretty cool show in store for you today. The newest golfer to have shot 58 at the game's highest tiers is going to be joining us on the program today. Talking about that, you know, there's so much, like we had a whole show yesterday where we were talking about kind of the new structure in the game and where top players, top performers are expecting more than the tried and true way that golf had been played forever before that, which was basically you eat what you kill. Right now it's along the lines of going, wait a minute, there's a whole machine. It's an entertainment machine, in fairness, but there's a whole machine that's built around these star players. And without the stars, you don't get the packed house, so to speak. And so now they're like saying, hey, how about a little something for the fact that I'm not the same as someone coming in off the street, someone that, say, maybe Monday qualified, that, you know, I deserve a little something more because I know I'm going to bring you television ratings. I know we're going to sell tickets through the door or merchandise or however you choose to measure it. So here we have someone who shoots a 58, and has three other stellar rounds and doesn't win. In fact, gets beat by 7 strokes. And I'm illustrating that not to try to show any signs of deficiency in this individual's game. The game is stout. What it's showing you is that at these levels where it's eat what you kill, you have to perform like you cannot believe. And from that standpoint, I think from a fan's perspective, it causes one to look at these other tours and go, wow, yeah, I mean, that's cutthroat with the way that it's being played. I mentioned a few years ago, a buddy of mine went down for a very accomplished player, winner in the European Tour, went down for a qualifier on the Champions Tour. The qualifier was in South Florida someplace. I forget exactly where it was. And to even have a sniff at a playoff in the qualifier, you needed to be sub 65 on a par 72 course. Right? Tough conditions all around. It's amazing. But that's another conversation for another day. Conversation today, I think you guys are going to love. And we want you to be actively involved in it because we want to get your comments. We want to get your thoughts. Log on to the Fairways of Life YouTube page. You can see Dom's question of the day, which I'll get to in a second. But the broad question, which I'll circle back around and provide you more context with, is to ask you, are you a cheater? Everybody out there is offended right now that I said that. Are you a cheater? We'll get into the details of that. Will Zalatoris is out this week for the Byron Nelson. Unfortunately, Zalatoris sent out a social media post, and I wonder if that photo we're using of him there is the old golf swing because it just looks like he's putting a lot of strain on his back. Remember, he's a young guy, but he's already had back surgery, and he is reporting that the back is flaring up. And while that phrase, when I first read it, I was like, wow, that's really concerning to say the back is flaring up. But as you read more into it, he talks about making sure that you give the back its proper rest so that he can go for the long haul and that he's still in the early stages, according to his doctors, in the healing of his back. So once you read a little bit more about what he's saying, it doesn't seem quite as ominous as the initial statement that the back is flaring up. So we wish him the very best, but he is out this week nonetheless. So circling back around to this subject for today, what happened was, you know, the last couple of days, one day we kind of stumbled into it, and yesterday it was with intent. We were talking about the comparison between the games of the best and the rest, and the differences between the two. Now, yesterday we focused more on kind of cornerstone elements of the game of golf and how great the game is doing, and the fact that you can't judge the game of golf by the swirling winds, call it, that are surrounding the game at its highest competitive tiers. And that maybe it's a personal thing. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but when people at that level talk about the future of the game, to me, I'm always thinking you really should qualify it, because what you're talking about is the future of professional golf at its highest competitive tiers. You're not talking about the game. The game is doing extremely well, thank you very much, notwithstanding the fact that at its highest competitive tiers, they're trying to figure out what path they're going to take moving down the road. They are an incredibly important part of golf, as we know, but they are not golf, which is a distinction that I don't think I've heard anyplace else before, but we realize it because of everything that we were going through yesterday in terms of the economic engine that is golf, of direct economic impact in the United States of well over $100 billion a year. And the indirect impact, which I was explaining yesterday, is like if you buy a house at a golf resort or on a golf course, that's an indirect impact, and that's over $226 billion. And the golf industry, I won't go through the list today because we did it yesterday, but the golf industry in terms of other comparable industries that you would automatically assume, well, it's got to be bigger than the golf industry. They're not. The golf industry is a major employer and, as I mentioned, a major generator in terms of impacts on the economy. So, but the conversation led to more conversations about the differences between what the best in the world do and what the rest of the world does, what I call the 99.99%. And so we were talking yesterday, I was talking to Dominic, and we were talking about today's show and what direction do you want to go. And we knew we had this special guest coming up in the program just a little bit that I think you're going to find, you'll be fascinated by, and it really speaks to not only the here and now, in fairness, but it speaks to the true future of the competitive game where you start to meet these young players. And I don't know, again, it's another side road here that I'm going down temporarily, but I'd like to see the continuance of investment in the future stars of the game and not pinning all hopes on this is who our stars are right now, or this is who a star was that built the game into what it is right now. And for fear, I suspect, of the optics of one of the top players who's no longer competitive going to another tour would be too much for the game to bear. So there's going to be massive sums of money paid to this individual to maintain the loyalty, and then to other individuals to say thanks for hanging around, even though those other individuals are all starting to edge towards the part of their careers where their skills are going to start to diminish. In other words, young players are going to come into the game, and what's there, what are they going to be looking for? And if you're truly concerned about what a competitor is going to do, what happens if the competitor cuts off the stream at the source? Right? Just some thoughts to throw out there. But when it comes down to this subject, what I opened the show and asked you the question, right? Are you a cheater? The reality is that when we talk about the game at the elite level and we talk about the game and the rest of the game, you can see Andrew just put the drop down in there. Everybody cheats. And I'm sure that there are so many people hearing me say that right now, and they're offended right out of the gate. Just Matty's on TV calling me a cheat. What I'm saying is that the game of golf, when it's played, and I'm going to use the phraseology that the USGA and the RNA use, they call it recreational golf. Even though I realize it can be heated competitive golf between you and your buddies, or I would say a rival, but the original rules called them adversaries, which makes it even seem more like a sword fight. And maybe it was back in those days. Maybe you had 14 clubs and a sword. Actually, you could have more than 14. 14 clubs is a relatively recent rule. I say relatively because of the age of golf. It's within the last 100 years. And so we started going down this road. So if you look at the drop down, you can see where it says golf cheating. Do you roll it over in the fairway? Right? Are you a person that becomes indignant about it and says, it's not cheating if I take it out of a divot? Oh, okay. Here's the full screen of it. Dom calls it a fairway fluffer. Example, not playing from a divot in the fairway. Oh, there it is. He used that as an example. Incorrect drops. Think dropping on the far side of a hazard. Well, it's cheating with an incorrect drop if you do it deliberately with intent. I mean, that one needs a little bit more. Like I see all the time, people misinterpret. It's kind of a, being trained in the rules for me is kind of like a blessing and a curse, because I see rules violations constantly. And once people know that you're certified in the rules, they ask you questions nonstop. And so And other times they don't want you to tell them what the real rule is. For example, your ball ends up on a cart path, right? Do you know what to do? And to say it's on a cart path, there's a hill on this side, and the grass is really thick and really deep, basically unplayable on that side. The other side's perfect. Clear shot to the green and all the rest, right? So, honestly, most players, if they and say, you know, the sidewalk, I'm trying to do this so you can see me on the screen. Sidewalk stays this wide, and your ball's over here. You're like 80% on the right side of the I'm calling it a sidewalk, because say cart path. And the hill with all the grass is on that side, right? And most people will come up and they'll pick up that ball and they'll drop it on the left side in the perfect grass with the perfect shot. Many times they'll drop it outside of the 1 club length. If you get it for free, it's 1. If you pay for it, it's 2. Talking about club lengths, right? It's an easy way to remember. But in the rule that I just gave you an example of, very few people will look at that and go, well, my drop is in the hill. You can always play it off the cart path if you want to, but my drop is on the hillside, right? So that's one that I see that people get wrong all the time. So, Dom, let's go back to that drop down. Extra clubs in the bag. Dom writes, do I see 3 putters in there? It does happen. That does happen. I mean, it's a tough one. That's a tough one to call on your, again, I'm going to use the terminology that Dom used from like 1754, your adversary. I mean, that's one where if you end up winning because you say, oh, I had 15 clubs in a casual game, that's tough. Gimme putts. Do you take them? Do you give them? Right? Now you're starting to see where I'm going with this idea of what is and is not cheating. If you do not follow the rules of a respective sport, in this case golf, is it cheating when you knowingly break the rule? I know right now that discussion boards are going crazy on all this stuff, right? Dom writes, fudging your handicap. Yeah, I'm a 15. Now that I believe the context he wrote that one in was sandbaggers, which is like eventually you want to, you know, burn them at the stake. OB shots played as lateral. I think I'll just drop here. And most of these things that we're going through, there's another side to this. Shouldn't they be the so-called recreational golfing rules, right? Let me go through the last couple here, guys. And then capping your score, where someone says, I can't take a 9, so put me down for 7. That's kind of the reverse of the sandbagging. That's a person that's trying to keep their handicap artificially low, which whenever I see someone trying to do that, I think to myself, go ahead and do it. How's that hurt us? It's less handicap strokes. And then the old mulligan. I mean, breakfast balls, they're basically a mulligan, right? But a breakfast ball is usually on the first tee. Some people go breakfast buffet and they have breakfast balls all day, I suppose. But mulligan is another matter entirely. Do you allow them? Do you take them? Do you count the mulligan? Do you count the original ball? Right? So all of these questions dare to be asked, and is it cheating? So Dom, with that, have you put together, based on our preliminary here, have you put together a question of the day? And what are people, I'm sure things are going crazy right now. Log on to the Fairways of Life YouTube channel. You can be a part of the discussion. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing a lot. That's what I'm hearing. So the question of the day is, do you follow the rules of golf when you're playing casually? I do
Simple
think
question, straightforward.
I think when we're talking about tournament golf, and obviously right now in the context of this discussion, we're not talking about professional golf. We are talking about recreational golf. So the question is, casually, when you're playing casually. And I gave 3 options, not just yes or no. Yes, no, or depends. It depends on a lot of things, which I feel like a lot of people would say. Hey, are you cheating? Well, you know, depends. and in glorious fashion, 24% of the people are saying, that depends. Are you a cheater? Well, It depends.
How do the other two yes and no split then? We're at 24%
So
on depends.
50, I can't even say it. 57% of the people are saying, yeah, totally. Definitely, I definitely cheat.
57%. Okay.
That's a astronomically high number.
Well, it's
And
but
let's
but
be
just
honest.
to give
Let's
it,
be honest. Let's be honest. The people who answered depends, they're cheating.
yeah.
Those are
So that's
those are
67,
that's a hard
77.
yes.
We're over 80%. And but the thing is, and this is what I'll pick up in segment 2, and I'm dying to hear from you guys with your comments on this. If you are a recreational golfer and you play the way most recreational golfers play, which is pick it up, that's good, or you're in a huge divot in the fairway. Dom, you do this yourself. You're admitted to it. You're like, yeah, if I'm in a divot, I don't play it out of the divot. Right?
Yes,
he literally
that's
told me that. He literally told me that
for the
yesterday.
record, I took my own survey and I clicked yes.
And Dom told me yesterday that when he's playing, because he drops off his kids and he's got a few hours in between before he's got to pick them up. And a lot of times we do pre-production stuff at night. And Dom absolves himself in that situation. I'm speaking for you, Dominic, based on what you told me yesterday.
Whoa. All right. Let's hear this
And
BS.
what he does is he absolves himself by declaring to whoever he's playing with. And he may not know these people, as I just explained to you. He'll go to a golf course and how many people do you know that you could just call up and go, hey, let's play golf tomorrow. What time? I don't know. Sometime after I drop off my kids, wherever we can find a tee time, wherever we can find a couple spots. So he shows up at a golf course. He's playing with people he doesn't know. He's single-digit handicap, and he'll be in a divot, and he's absolved he turns to them and he'll declare, hey, I'm in a horrible divot that wasn't filled. I'm not hitting it out of this divot. And the indignance
whoa. That's not
clears
true.
him of any. Oh.
No.
Oh, I must have misinterpreted you.
No, you did misinterpret. It's outrageous. It is an ask situation, right? So if I'm playing with two other guys, right? I'll look down, right? I'll say, come on. You're cool if I just a little bit, right? Come on. And
nudge it out of the hole.
99 times out of 100, really 100 times out of 100, they're like, yeah, go ahead. And this is like after I watch them kick it with their boot from out behind the tree.
Easy. Yeah, no, that's right. So that leads me to the question, which I'm gonna leave as we go into segment 2 here and start the countdown for our guest joining us soon. Shocking. So it leads me to the second segment, which my question is, in casual recreational golf, say you're a member guest tournament, a little bit different, gets to that different level that Dom's talking about in terms of tightness with rules, etc. Although there still are great liberties taken in fairness. But the question is, how, if you are an amateur golfer, recreational golfer, how do you possibly get declared a cheat? Like you have a reputation of being a cheater. How does that happen? But it happens. Why? We'll discuss when we come back. You guys weigh in on this. Make sure you log on to our Fairways of Life page on YouTube because we want to hear from all of you as well as to what all of this means. The Fairways of Life show is presented by the PGA Tour Superstore, #1 golf retailer. Good reason. Big, beautiful stores. 70-ish spread out from coast to coast. You want it, you need it, you swing it, you wear it, you learn from it. It's inside of those walls. But the best thing to me are their people, true professionals vested in your best interest. Shop with the pros at your happy place.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after the PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. All right, welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. We're going down this road of discussing cheating. And are you a cheater? Do you take offense when I ask you that question, or even declare that we all are? But my broader question is, and again, I'm using the phrase that the USGA and the RNA used, recreational golfers, right? Because the vast majority of the 99.99% are recreational golfers. So how can you earn a reputation at your club, with your group, with your friends, of being a cheater when we just went through a whole list of different actions that people take as a group that are against the rules of golf? Does that constitute cheating if you do something with intent, knowing it is contrary to the rules, right? And I could see where people would be like, no. And Dom, you're going to jump in with a bunch of these. But to me, it's like the area that I find that people that even modify the rules are unforgiving is when someone reports a score that they didn't make, right? You see them hacking all over the place. You're in some kind of a match. You made a bogey on the hole 5, and you say, "What?" Maybe you're giving this person a stroke in the hole. And you say, "Well, what'd you get?" And they go, "Oh, I had a 6." Because they're doing the math. They know that it's going to net to a 5 and the hole is halved. Or if there's one of these people that are driven by the ego of their score, they'll say they got a 5, and you know they didn't. Now it puts you in the position of calling them out on that. And are you going to do that in a casual round of golf? Right? Is it your responsibility to become confrontational with this person? And they're pretty good at dodging and weaving, right? I found that's the area where a person mostly gets labeled a cheater, but there's others. Dom, what are you hearing from the people on this subject?
A couple things. First of all, I find it interesting that in most sports, cheating is celebrated, right? In most other sports. Like in the NFL, you're trying to get away with pass interference. You're playing basketball, a little bit of shoulder, a little extra elbow. And you're like, what? Come on, I didn't do anything. And all your teammates are like, what? You didn't touch him.
Look what happens in the hockey playoffs right now, which are awesome. And I understand my Rangers are going to play your Hurricanes, Don. But look what happens off the puck. When the eyes of the linesman and the referee are watching the action, and you were tangled up with another player in the back, and look at some of the offenses there. I use baseball as an example all the time. You're running to first. A throw comes in, and you know you got tagged. You know it. And they call you safe. Is that cheating? You know you got tagged. You know it. But you got called safe. So in that, because it comes from an official, does it supersede the fact of your very definitive knowledge that I was definitely out? And is that something like after the game, you're going to yuck it up either with your teammates or years from now with whoever tagged you out in that big game and said, no, I know you got me. Right? And you laugh about it. So in other sports, it's you're literally trying to evade the rules and get away with it. In golf at its highest tiers, that's not tolerated. And we know what happens with people that are accused of being cheaters. They're labeled with that scarlet letter, the C, forever. But in this so-called recreational golf, Dom, what are you hearing from the people? What are they saying to you?
So the official question of the day is, do you follow the rules of golf when you're playing casually, recreationally? Yes, no, or depends, right? Because it depends. 24% still
that sounds
depends.
so Seinfeldian,
55%
doesn't it?
yes. Yes, 55%, 24% depends, for a total of 79% currently, which in my opinion you're just flat out cheaters. So here's some stuff coming in. Ted writes, I do not do gimme putts. Okay. Bob says, I play by the rules with one exception. I hate chasing lost balls and wasting time. So I just drop one and take a penalty. Cheating. That's cheating. I guess that depends or something. Wayne says, we play the mercy rule. Double par and pick it up and count that score.
The mercy rule. Oh, I
we play preferred lies in the fairways.
The 26 rule, the mercy rule. Oh, preferred lies in the fairways. Yeah, okay.
Deuce writes, I definitely won't hit it out of a divot. Dumbest rule in golf. Derek says, a mulligan in Ireland is called 3 off the tee. When one is talking about the pace of play, for 90% of players
in Ireland today, right?
Breaking the rules because rules are part of their thinking. And then someone's making fun of me. Derek's making fun of me for fluffing my lies. Okay. 81% of you are cheaters, and now I'm a cheater? By the way, that's what's interesting, Matt, is there's this understanding, right? Like if you see someone move it out of a divot and everyone in the group's kind of like, yeah, whatever. That's kind of how we do things. Like that's sort of looked upon as, well, that's no big deal. But when you lie about your score on your scorecard, it's like, I'm not hanging out with that guy. He's an evil person.
That's what I'm saying. But so what we're getting at
here is...
where's
the divide? It's crazy.
No, the divide, it's pretty simple. What it really comes down to is if you intend to deceive with your actions, then you are considered a cheater. That's a cardinal cheater. Everybody is breaking the rules. And so now you have to have this conversation and go, okay, if I didn't have this discussion, we hadn't had all this context, and I said to you, oh, let me ask you a question. In sports, not just golf, I'm just talking about in sports. In sports, if you break the rules, knowingly break the rules, are you a cheater? 100% of people would be like, yeah, it sounds reasonable. You're a cheater. Okay, now let's talk about golf for a second. You're playing with your group, and you hit it out of bounds on the right. Is it foregone now that in so-called recreational golf that you go out there and you drop it where it crossed? Right? I already know the vast majority of you are shaking your head, yes, that's how we do it. How many people in casual golf or recreational golf or whatever way you want to phrase the 99.99%, how many people hit 3 off the tee, aside from Derek that apparently is watching us in Ireland or wherever he is around the world today, right? That's what I'm talking about. And no one looks upon that and goes, oh, that person's a cheater. We'll do that because it saves time and we can keep moving and all the rest. Get it? I mean, I literally played in a tournament a few weeks back, and before we teed off, they said, look, and one of the people that organized the tournament is a very, very high-level rules official. I'm talking about like major championships rules official. And they said to me, oh, we got this rule. Basically, wherever you are, other than in a penalty area, bunker or whatever, you can roll it. I was like, what? Yeah, wherever you are, you can roll it. And I was like, why are you doing that? And the answer I got back was, because there are people that are going to be doing that anyway, so we want to make sure that it's a level playing field. Okay. pretty wild, but that was what they're playing by. So that, yeah, I'm really, Dom, that still brings me back to the same thing. It makes me really curious that you could be a so-called recreational golfer, a casual golfer, an amateur golfer, or whatever phrase you want to use in this context. You could be that person and you could get labeled a cheater. But if you are, you had to do something pretty severe. What else you hearing from the people? Any other good stuff coming in?
David says, the old foot wedge. Cheater. Ted says, in my favorite foursome, 2 of my buddies can't count. Derek, who's not happy with this discussion, says, fluffing lies in casual rounds of golf hurts your game because in a competition you can't and you haven't practiced the shot. And so you're tense. It just serves no purpose. I disagree, Derek. I am not a professional golfer, and I will never be anywhere even remotely in the realm of a professional golfer. So I'm not about to ruin my day. If my ball lands in a little divot in the fairway after I hit a really good drive, which doesn't happen on every hole, all right? Stay with me on earth here. Let's get an update on the question of the day.
This is why I
Do you
said,
follow
I
the
just
rules
said
of
to you
golf when you're
guys,
playing casually? No, they don't. They don't, Matt. 26% say it depends. I love that I put depends in there, and I love that so many people are afraid to click yes. So they're just like, well, I'm going to qualify my cheating. It depends.
well, that's what you just did. That's what I'm saying. You justified.
No,
taking it out
I
of a
clicked
divot
yes.
through
I
a
clicked
dignity.
yes.
You said you clicked yes, but
No,
then
I
you
clicked yes.
defended yourself multiple times because people are like, Dom, you roll it over in the fairway. No, I take it out of a divot. I take it out of a divot, a deep divot.
So
It's an offense to
Glenn
mankind.
Glenn writes, local rules. If the entire group plays by the same rules, it's not cheating.
No is only yes to another question.
That's a
George
fantastic
Costanza.
rule. Can you imagine
Yeah.
the rules you could come up with? That's great. Oh, man, that's fantastic. I'm thoroughly
Dom,
enjoying this. Before we move on, because I can see Frankie's hooking up, we got lots to get to, but can I just read like 1 or 2 of the original rules of golf?
That's what I was going to ask you to do. I want to
Just
see
a couple.
that. Andrew, you have this great chart of the
Oh, yeah. Andrew, put
history
that up.
of the
There you
rules
go.
of golf. And while we're looking at this, Dom, take us through some of those originals so we can get an understanding of where we started and where we are.
All right, hold on. I got to get it opened up here. I'm going to read some of my favorite ones. If this is rule number 5, the original rule number 5 of golf. It was called an article. This is a quote from 17 whatever. If your
44.
ball comes among water or any watery filth,
Watery
you are at
filth.
liberty to take out your ball and bringing it behind the hazard and teeing it. You may play it with any club and allow your adversary a stroke.
There you go. Well, you're
And then
paying
this
for
is
it.
another one. Hold on, this is a good one. Where's the dog one? So this is, play it as it lies. That's what everyone references when it comes to golf for hundreds of years. This is the original rule. This is how it's actually written. Rule number 10, quote, if a ball be stopped by any person, horse, dog, or anything else, the ball so stopped must be played where it lies.
Ooh, the ball's so
it's
stopped.
1798. You take out whatever you're using, the wooden stick. You smash it. It goes 8 yards and hits your dog right in the belly and lands. Got to play it from there.
Poor dog. I think it's more like the dog would grab it, but it was 1744, as you could see from
I love it.
the way the rules woven their way through time. 1754, the R&A is actually founded. 1759, stroke play is introduced, although I'm sure versions of it existed well before when they were competing against each other. Adversary, what saith your score on that hole? Well, I was in the watery filth. 1952,
It is pretty simple. Your tee must be upon the ground. That's a rule. It's very simple. They made it simple.
Yeah, that's a good rule, too. Your tee must be upon the ground. Anchored stroke banned in 2016, rules modernization in 2019. And today there's 25 rules of golf with subsections that can only be fully worked out through the Supreme Court. So I don't know what watery filth you might be sitting in right now, but when we come back here on the Fairways of Life show, we're going to be joined by a special guest who I can't wait to talk with this individual because This is a golfer that was the latest to shoot a 58 in competition. Yeah, you heard me right. A 58 in competition. What does it mean for the game? Who is this individual? What plans lie in the future? What watery filth is this person trying to avoid? That, as the Fairways of Life show continues right after this.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to boynegolf.com.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Order yours and save. Visit zerofriction.com/stride or scan the QR code to order yours today. Stride, your personal caddy.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show, folks. Pleasure to have your company on this Wednesday. Dom, I have to tell you, there are messages loading in right now. And
I'm getting text messages from a lot of people.
I bet you are. That's what I'm getting these text messages coming in. Chuck Garbedian, who's been a golf broadcaster forever, was like, Dom doesn't play by the rules. I bet he doesn't observe the speed limit.
I play by the rules.
I wrote back to Chuck.
I was like, throw an elbow in the lane.
I was like, dude, you drive a muscle car. There's no way that you observe the speed limit. Come on. We know what that is. All right, as you guys know, one of the things that we love doing here in the Fairways of Life show, been doing it for years, is introducing you to new players as they enter the game. And it's been really fun for us over the course of that time because we have gotten to know players who have evolved in their careers to a point that they're major champions. Players that when they first come on with us, we'll be honest with them and say, you know what, I'm having trouble meeting my rent. But then we watch the ascension of their game. Frankie Capan III is one of those new players. Sappin, I should say, is how you properly pronounce his name. You probably do recognize the name once I pronounce it correctly because he made news just this past week. He shot a 58 on the Korn Ferry Tour at the Veritex Bank Championship. He's from Minnesota. He played collegiately at Alabama and Florida Gulf Coast before turning professional in 22. His first full year in the Korn Ferry Tour, he collected a third, a fourth, and a sixth early into the season. He's already positioned himself for a PGA Tour card. He's currently 22nd on the points list. In his last 3 starts, 4th, 8th, and 9th. Fun fact, I'm not even sure Frankie's aware of this. I'll ask him in a second here. He's top 25 on the Korn Ferry Tour in total driving, greens and regulation, scrambling, putting, scoring average on the Korn Ferry Tour. Absolute rock solid. Pleasure to welcome Frankie Sappin to the show right now. What's going on, my man? How you doing? How you holding up?
Not much. I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys having me on. So thank you.
Pleasure to have you on the show. So how much attention did you instantly get when you go out and you shoot a 58?
A lot. Very, very much. It was funny because I finished the round and did a couple of interviews and then turned on my phone and checked, and the text and DMs and everything just kept rolling in, and it was pretty ridiculous. I just kind of had to put my phone aside, but it definitely made me chuckle.
Now, I was hosting the pre and post game shows for Golf Channel when you did it, and so we were playing the video of you coming in. I actually said to our producer, I said, I think we should caption this because I swear you didn't know what you shot. That's what I thought I heard. Was that in fact the case?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of confusion there. So I knew I was 13 under. However, I forgot the par of the golf course. And the whole entire back nine, I wasn't marking scores. I was marking for Scott Harrington and then obviously myself. And at that point, I knew we were going pretty deep, and I decided to just, I'm just going to mark all the scores on the scores tent, and we'll see where we're at. However, I did know I was 13 under. But I genuinely thought it was, I thought my 8-footer for par on the last hole was for 59, and then was pretty pumped when I walked off, and someone had mentioned something, and then I just needed some clarification on what I actually shot, if it was 58 or 59, and then I was pretty excited.
Was it your dad that you asked? If again, I was just trying to figure it out from the video that I saw.
Yeah, I did. I asked my dad. We were walking off. I gave my mom and dad a hug, and then as we were walking away, I just was like, "What was that?" And I don't think they could hear me, so I had to say it a couple times. And then my dad was like, "Yeah, I was 58." I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool."
Crazy. I mean, it's insane. And then this is what I kind of opened the show with this today, Frankie, where I was talking about that golf's ultimate meritocracy is in these developmental tours, right? Where you shoot a 58, you have solid as all get out rounds surrounding your 58. And if memory serves me, you lost by 7 strokes or something crazy. I mean, I don't know if people realize how ruthless you have to be in scoring to make it through these developmental tours to try to get into the big stage.
Yeah, you do. I think a lot of the courses that we play set up for, a lot of birdies to be made and a lot of opportunities out there. So I think that's the biggest thing that I was harping on is in my post-round interview, I told them, I said, guys, I mean, obviously I had an incredible round, incredible day. It was very special, something I'll never forget. But at the same time, I'm only leading by 3 to where I just wanted to kind of reiterate it to myself that, we still have 54 more holes, and I need to keep my foot on the pedal for these next 3 days, and unfortunately wasn't able to. But at the same time, I think when you have a day like that, just kind of being able to acknowledge it and be proud of it, but at the same time, you really just have to keep playing, because I knew there were a ton of great players behind me that were playing well, and like I said too, there are a lot of opportunities out there on that course. So just I think there's a lot of talent in the game right now, and it's really fun to see, and
Oh, yeah.
it's fun to be part of. But yeah, it's definitely not super easy to just go out there and win by 7, 10, 12, whatever it may be. And Tim Vieding's had a special couple weeks, and I'm really excited for him and his journey. And I mean, I played with him Saturday and Sunday, and the guy's been playing some solid golf. So as much as I was bummed to get beat, I'm happy for him as well.
Tell me, before we go to break here, we're running out of time already, and I got a bunch of stuff I'd love to ask you about. Your last name, Sappin, is how you pronounce it, but it's spelt with a C. What's the background with your surname?
Yeah, it's Croatian. So my grandfather, his dad, they're from Yugoslavia, and that's how we've always said it. And it's confusing. So whenever people ask me my last name or they're trying to figure it out, I usually just spell it out for them. So I've gotten Capan, Sappin, Capan. I've gotten all the above. So I usually just kind of roll with whatever, but the correct pronunciation is Sappin.
I think we used most of them already on today's show. When we come back, more with Frankie, finding out about his life and what it's like to be out there as a tour player, as he just explained to us, in situations where you have to go super low. Coming up.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Rapid fire with Frankie Sappin. So, Frankie, if you could change one rule, you're the czar of golf for the day. What's the one rule you're going to change?
It's a great question. I think the biggest one I hear about is the divots. You have a perfect tee shot down the middle and you go into a divot. And I've always been on the stance that I think you should have to play it. But I would be fine with kind of the out of bounds being able to drop where it crossed. I like that one. I think you should be able to, go on up there and be able to drop as though it was a penalty area would be kind of neat.
Dude, I begged the USGA in that when they came out with the rules in 19, because I come from the green grass side, right? And I'm saying, okay, if you're going to allow us to designate a penalty area, that's why it's no longer called a hazard, because the hazards used to have water associated with it, but a penalty area anywhere we want in the course for safety or whatever reason that we deem it necessary with the red stakes. I said, can you give us a candy cane stake so that when, particularly because 99.99% of the golf that we have out there are amateur golfers, recreational play, right? And so it gives us the liberty of saying, you're out of bounds, so you can't hit the shot where it is because it's off our property, but give us the liberty to say, but you could drop right here, call it a local rule if you want to, or what have you. And they were like, no, we see it as sacrosanct that if you hook it into a pond and you get the drop where it crossed there left, and the other guy slices it right out of bounds, you're off the property, and that's a greater sin. So we kind of lost in that. All right, so I got some questions I want to run down the road here with you. You are all of the ripe old age of 24 years old, and obviously you're making your way, you're knocking on the door, you're playing some great golf, you've got huge confidence. You just shot a 58, which is mind-blowing. As you evolve, it's going to become, you're living it right now, but it's going to become even more and more important that you establish yourself as the Frankie Sappin III brand. What do you want the brand of Frankie Sappin III to stand for?
That's a great question. I haven't really thought about it before. You know, I think, I'm from a great family. I love my parents and two sisters. And I think just being a good person overall, I come from a Christian home. So I think just being the best person I can be on and off the course. And in this game, you're gonna win and you're gonna lose a lot. So I think just having just a solid base and foundation in my family and team, and just being someone that people and kids can look up to. I feel like I do a pretty good job of trying to stay even keel out there on the course and not get too up or too down. But at the same time, it's a tough game, and I think just being someone that younger kids can look up to, and I feel like I try and do my best job of that, whether it's signing autographs for kids or hanging out with them, and I think overall just being the best type of person and Christian I can be on and off the course.
Very cool. We only got a couple of minutes left here. What about your sponsors? Who have you aligned yourself with?
Yeah, so I'm partners with Unreal. They are an apparel company. I would compare them similar to like a Lululemon or a Nike. However, I think the quality of their clothing is incredible. And they are based in Minnesota. So we got connected just about a year and a half ago. And funny enough, their CEO and founder, his name's Michael Jordan,
Wow.
which is kind of funny. And yeah, so I got connected with them, and they've been just absolutely tremendous. They've just been kind of making their way into golf and have a tremendous golf line. I love their stuff, great quality, great design, and overall just great people. So that's on the apparel side. And then, sponsor partnership, you can see, I guess, right here on my chest, Capstone Hospitality. They were probably my first sponsor, which is pretty neat, and I'm incredibly thankful for them. I would say they're kind of the middleman between golf courses and potential members. So when courses might be struggling with their membership, that course will hire these guys, and they'll come in and just kind of try and boost the membership and do anything they can to help bump those numbers up.
Cool. I want to ask you about Hope Kids as well. We only have about a minute and a half left here, but I know it's a charity that you're very close to. You want to tell the world about your involvement and why?
Yeah, I do. We're my family. We've always been heavily involved in charities, and one that we like to support and volunteer for is called Hope Kids. The best way I would describe it is they provide hope for kids with terminal illnesses and diseases, and and provide hope for their families as well, whether it might be, you know, going to certain events, planning events. I think when kids are constantly in the hospital and just kind of sitting there, they don't really have much to look forward to. But if they know, you know, they're going to a Vikings game in 2 weeks, or they're going to the movies with their family, they have that to look forward to, and it basically kind of provides them and their family hope for what's to come.
Very cool. Frankie, we got 30 seconds left here. 5 years from now, unfair question to ask you this quick. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
I see myself as one of the best players in the world. You know, I work pretty hard, and I'm blessed with a great team around me. And you know, I think golf, I just love playing the game so much. You know, win or lose, I enjoy learning and getting better, and just seeing how far I can go. And it's just a really enjoyable process for me. And I think, you know, the past few months, I've really seen some growth and development, not only in my game, but also myself. And it's fun to see. And I would love to just keep going.
I love it, dude. I love the fact that you said it's fun to see when you're reflecting on your own development and evolution. It's fun to see for all of us, too, because we know you're going in a great direction. Thank you for your time. Folks, thank you for all your time. Great show today. We'll be back with you again. Until next time, bye for now.